We are about to see Luocha come to Honkai Star Rail version 1.1 as the Part 2 5-star character for, obviously, this update. And of course, everybody is wondering if summoning for him is actually worth it. Now, we talked about his build before. We've also talked about a couple of these 4 stars in build guides before, but we haven't talked about the combination of them and if you should summon on their banner. So what is going on, my dudes? Natasha here, back again with another Honkai Star Rail video. And of course, if you guys like the content, please make sure to hit that like and subscribe button down below. Don't forget to hit the notification bell to be notified when the next Honkai Star Rail video comes out. And of course, leave a comment. Would love to hear you guys' opinions. But without any further delay, let's go ahead and get right into it. This lineup is not a bad lineup, and I'll tell you why. It's mainly because 2 of these characters, either A, I have used them extensively, or B, I really like their kit in general. Now, the third character we're going to be talking about, and you probably heard me talk about not my disdain, but more so my towards this character before. We'll go ahead and talk about them as well. But first, let's go ahead and talk about the first unit, Pela. Pela is an ice element character of the Nihility path, which focuses on debuffing. And it's no surprise that, in all honesty, like, she works really, really well. Her Frostbite skill removes a buff from the enemy while also dealing ice damage. And then, of course, her ultimate actually reduces enemy defense by 30% for 2 turns. Now, that's only at the level 1. If you have her maxed out, she actually reduces it by 45% for 2 turns, which is amazing. And I think that, honestly, not a lot of people give her enough credit, in my personal opinion, especially since, you know, now the 5-star variant Silverwolf is out, and Silverwolf, obviously, in my opinion, is a lot better than Pela, which should be the case because you have the 4-star versus the 5-star, but Pela is still a very, very good choice when it comes to debuffing if that's what you're going for. Let's go ahead and talk about Yukong next, because I've talked about Yukong in our own separate build guide, and I think she's really, really good. Now, she is a imaginary element character of the Harmony path, which means that she's going to buff allies. So we're going to read verbatim her skill and her ultimate here, because I think that's what's most important. Her skill obtains 2 stacks of Roaring Bowstrings to a maximum of 2 stacks, which Roaring Bowstrings is a buff in of itself. When Roaring Bowstrings is active, the attack of all allies increases by 40%, and every time an ally's turn ends, Yukong loses 1 stack of Roaring Bowstrings. When it's the turn where Yukong gains Roaring Bowstrings by using skill, Roaring Bowstrings will not be removed. And not only that, but like, if you max out Roaring Bowstrings, it turns into 100%, not 40% attack, 100% attack. That's crucial. That is very crucial, especially for characters, you know, that really work well with attack percentage. So, I mean, that should be a given from what I've been saying. But anyways, her ultimate, if Roaring Bowstrings is active on Yukong when her ultimate is used, additionally increases all allies' crit rate by 21% and crit damage by 39%. At the same time, deals imaginary damage equal to 228 of Yukong's attack to a single ally. So in combination with your skill going into your ultimate, you're going to basically do more damage based off of your attack, and getting that 100% attack bonus is really crucial. Now, of course, this could also, at the max level, go up to 31.5% crit rate, 78% crit damage, and 456% attack. So, bear in mind that she does use your skill points. However, you have to make sure that you're paying attention to that in general. I would say that Yukong is a lot better than what people are giving her credit for, because some people in my comments section from my Yukong video were giving me crap for saying that she's better than Jingyuan. In essence, she is. The only difference is that Jingyuan only needs to use her buff once and then gets 2 turns. But that buff is only really worrying about, you know, just the attack percentage. This is worrying about the, like, well, I wouldn't even say that. Not even just the attack percentage. I would say, like, her attack percentage buff is a little bit lower than Yukong's, while not being using the skill points, and then Yukong has the higher attack percentage while operating the skill points. If that makes sense. I'll have to do a comparison video between Jingyuan and Yukong here, probably by next week when I start actually using Yukong, because I am going to be summoning for Yukong anyway. Now let's go ahead and talk about the character that I I'm not a fan of, but I understand why people like her, Quinky. Now, Quinky is a quantum erudition character, which is based on, damage. But the thing with her is that her damage, or her whatever it is that you want to call it, is based off random. So, a Scoop of the Moon, which is her skill, immediately draws 2 jade tiles and increases damage by 14% until the end of the current turn. The effect can stack up to 4 times. The turn will not end after the skill is used. Now, this could be bumped up all the way to 35%, but the main thing that you're wanting to understand is that you're drawing for jade tiles. And that's part of the talent. When the ally's turn starts, Quinky randomly draws 1 tile from 3 different suits and can hold up to 4 tiles at one time. If Quinky starts her turn with 4 tiles of the same suit, this consumes all tiles and enters the hidden hand state. When in the state, Quinky cannot use her skill again. At the same time, Quinky's attack increases by 36%, going all the way up to 90% in her talent, and her basic attack Flower Pick is enhanced, becoming cherry on top. The hidden hand state ends after using cherry on top. It's a very weird type of skill, and it's based on random. You have to have 4 tiles of the same suit, which is not a guarantee. That's why personally I'm not a big fan of it, but I digress. Her ultimate does fix that. With her ultimate, a Quartet Woohoo deals quantum damage equal to 240% of Quinky's attack to all enemies and obtains 4 jade tiles of the same suit. So that is a good thing, and I will say that. That's at level 15. At level 1, it's only 120%, but it is what it is. So there are good things about this character. I'm just not the biggest fan of her. And then, of course, we're here to talk about the mainstay, Luocha. Now, Luocha is an imaginary element unit of the Abundance Path, and the Abundance Path is focused on healing, which is fantastic. You always gotta love your healers. But what's really cool about him is that he's also a debuffer. His ultimate reach, Death Wish, removes 1 buff from all allies and deals imaginary damage equal to 120% at level 1, all the way up to 240% at level 15 of Luocha's attack to all enemies. Luocha gains 1 stack of Abyss Flower. Now, that ties into the talent Cycle of Life. When Abyss Flower reaches 2 stacks, Luocha consumes all stacks of Abyss Flower to deploy a field against the enemy. When the enemy on the field is attacked by an ally, the attacking ally's HP is immediately restored by an amount equal to 12% all the way up to 21% of Luocha's attack plus 60, or all the way up to 309 depending on your level. The field effect lasts for 2 turns. When Luocha is knocked down, the field will be dispelled. Now, of course, you want to make sure that your Luocha is consistently healed all the time. So this kind of works out in his favor. Now, another thing too is to talk about his skill, Prayer of the Abyss Flower. After using his skill, Luocha immediately restores the target ally's HP equal to 40%, and that goes all the way up to 70% at level 15 of Luocha's attack by 200, or attack plus 200. And then you will go all the way up to level 15 and go all the way up to 1025. Meanwhile, Luocha gains 1 stack of Abyss Flower when any ally's HP percentage drops to 50% or lower. An effect equivalent to Luocha's skill will immediately be triggered and applied to this ally for 1 time without consuming skill points. This is crucial because you don't have to use your skill points for this. So this actually works well in tandem with Yukong being your buffer, because then you could save all your skill points for Yukong. So that's my point on some people when it comes to Yukong. You have to build her around characters that aren't going to use skill points but still get the job done. And Luocha is one of those characters where you don't have to use a skill point. But the question here is, should you summon on this banner? Now, I think all these units in their own right have great abilities to work in tandem together, especially since you have your Nihility path with Pela, you have your Harmony path with Yukong, you have your Erudition path with Quinky, and then you have another Harmony path user, Abundance path user with Luocha. And I think that this could be a team that actually works together, especially with Luocha's healing abilities and the ability to also debuff. Your team would be rocking a lot of debuffs in tandem with Luocha and Pela, followed by buffing you with Yukong. So if you're a free-to-play player looking for really a banner that works well together, this banner doesn't. And I know that there's some people who will probably disagree with me, but honestly, you could pull every character from this team, run it as a team, and it'll work, especially as an imaginary team. And the biggest thing about it is that you have 2 new imaginary units that work well together. So I think that I wouldn't say it's a must summon. Maybe for free-to-play players, it's a must summon. But in all honesty, this is a banner that I don't think anybody should truly like just throw out the window and not go for. There is a possibility that this banner could be more bang for your buck than you realize. So I'm gonna rule it as a should summon, in my personal opinion, just for now. And if you disagree, let me know in the comments down below. Would love to hear you guys' opinions. But Luocha is pretty goated from what it just looks like. Now, again, this is just based off of his kit and what I know of it. Understand that it could change afterwards. I could be like, oh, well, whatever. But right now, as it stands, I'm looking at the kit. I'm looking at the 4 stars. I think this is a must summon. Now, of course, I would love to hear y'all's opinion about this. Do you guys agree with me? Are you going to be summoning for Luocha? Please let me know in the comments down below. Of course, y'all, thank you so much for giving me the opportunity to entertain you. We will be back again with another Honkai Star Rail video very, very soon. And of course, as always, guys, thank you so much. Love you all to death. And as always, we'll catch you guys in the next video. Please take care and be safe, y'all.